You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Den sei nach Strömungen in Celery.
Hello?
Good evening, sir.
Michael J. Austin Aloysius Poulin.
Good evening, sir. Aloysius.
I don't know. I thought I'd pull up something. All right. I am ready for the intro. Ready?
Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is episode number
16.
16 of the Angry Marks Rewind podcast here at AngryMarks.com, your number one source for pro wrestling, mixed martial arts, news and information, and we're going in the Wayback Machine. But before we do that, Mike...
Good evening, or whenever you listen to this.
Well, it's evening where I am.
Yeah, but whenever everybody else listens to it, the people that listen to it.
I'm sure they would listen to it, right before they go to bed, so our
dulcet tone, they can hear our dulcet tones.
Our sultry, fuck it. Okay.
Our sultry tones, sir.
I got a little bit of feedback from last week's episode when we were discussing WCW theme music.
Oh boy.
And it inspired me. And I got out the old guitar here.
Oh boy.
We'll play a little game. I know this is called Name That WCW Theme Song.
Name that tune.
I know you know what this is going to be, but let me get through it, and then we'll discuss it, okay? Ready?
Yep, go ahead. That would be the stud stable.
All right, let's put this away.
And I'm trying not to dance because I don't want my chair to make any noise. But yes,
Colonel Rob Parker's stud stable.
Yes.
Oh, what a great time!
Great lower card WCW stable.
Back when Ming was like dressed up like a doorman.
He's the most intimidating bodyguard ever. And even back then, I'm like, that's a guy that can tear your head off, and I'm only like 8.
And that song always made me want to go to Bucksnort, Tennessee.
Visit Tony Anthony?
I want to visit
Dirty White Boy!
I want to visit Bunkhouse Buck.
Oh, boy.
Oh, so how was your week, Mike? Anything interesting?
My week, my birthday's tomorrow.
That's right, it is. Oh, see, I thought it was... Oh, that's right, May 2nd.
Yes.
With The Rock.
You smell what I'm cooking?
You jackass, my birthday's May 2nd.
Somebody else's birthday's May 2nd. Somebody else famous's birthday's May 2nd, but I'm not sure who.
Well, let's find out. This is what we do on the show here. We don't want to... what's that? Celebrity birthdays?
Yes. I wish I was a celebrity.
Oh, come on. You're the king of this show. Celebrity birthday, May 2nd.
You're the Squire?
Okay. You share a birthday with, obviously, The Rock.
Yep.
David Beckham.
Ah, the soccer player.
The footballer. Ooh, Princess Charlotte.
Not Flair. That's
No.
Queen.
DC Young Fly.
Ooh.
Apparently he's a rapper. Who else? Paul George, the basketball player.
Don't know who that is.
A bunch of... Ellie Kemper.
Who?
Ellie Kemper. She played the secretary on The Office.
I don't know if I've ever seen that show.
Oh my God.
I'll have to... Is it the British one or the American one?
The American one.
Okay, I have seen some of that.
Let's see.
I don't know if I've actually watched all the way through, though.
Oh, hey, you share a birthday with the Big Boss Man.
Hey! Law and Order.
That's right. Outside of that, let's see here. Christine Baranski, who's probably most famous for playing Leonard Hofstadter's mother.
I don't know who that is.
The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay.
Are you stuck in a time warp?
I don't watch a lot of modern television.
You only watch wrestling.
I watch a lot of older television.
Okay, well...
So I probably am in a time warp.
Those are apparently the big stars that have a birthday tomorrow. We're just going to add Mike Poulin to that list. So
Wikipedia, everybody.
Let's see.
Money in the Bank predictions, since I don't know, at least for the cases, since I don't know if we're going to do a show before then.
What was that in 2 weeks?
It is It is May 19th.
We'll probably get something up before then.
Yeah, but will it be out? Well, maybe. We'll see.
It probably won't be. It probably won't be released by then. But you know,
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, you and I, well, I'm sure we'll have it recorded by then because I got a treat for you.
Oh boy! Don't spoil it. We'll go through it later.
Okay. Speaking of spoilers, between Avengers Endgame and
I heard that was a blockbuster at the box office.
The latest Game of Thrones episode, I am spent on TV.
Oh, let's hear it.
Well,
no spoilers. Darn it.
Well,
not that I watch, but you know.
If you go see the movie, and if you are a fan of the genre and of the franchise, you will not be disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go see it again on Saturday. Probably going to pick up a lot of things that I missed in the first round. So that movie is all action, and it was the quickest 3 hours of my life. I didn't have to get up to pee. I didn't even finish my popcorn, so I can.
Does your theater do the free movies for like school kids on vacations and everything, or anything like that?
I'm sure they probably do some sort of promotion. I don't.
They do that at mine, and I went yesterday. They were showing Grease.
At the height of its popularity, right?
Yeah.
You're the one that I want. You're the one that I want.
John Travolta, everybody.
All right, so episode 16 of the Angry Marks Rewind podcast is going to focus this week on the
Unforgiven, not starring Clint Eastwood.
What made you decide on this? Because the event didn't happen in May. There's no real historical significance around it for this time of year. What possessed you to choose this viewing?
I honestly just couldn't think of anything that was like. I was looking through the network pay-per-views and all that stuff, and I just couldn't think of anything that was grabbing my attention. So I just put something in the randomizer, and out came this one.
So clearly you did a lot of thought and preparation for this.
Yeah, probably way too much.
Well, you probably gave more. We probably are going to give more analysis to this show than it deserves. I could not find my issue of The Observer that talked about this show, so I'm going in cold. I have no stats except for the fact that they claimed that over 19,000 people were in the arena, which
sold out in an hour and a half.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
House shows never sold out that quick. At least none where I've gone.
There were empty seats all over that building, including a fan that held up a sign that says "Kurt is a fat."
Oh God!
This did not get confiscated by WWF security.
2000, everybody.
So we're going back to September 24th. In the year 2000.
In the year 2000.
We're at the First Union Center in Philadelphia, which I guess now is called the Wells Fargo Center.
Or whatever they're naming it these days.
Whoever decides to pony up the money to slap their name on the side of a building. So we get the opening montage. It's
the return of Stone Cold, plus 2 men fight over a chick, and four guys fight over a belt because we didn't have anything for The Rock to do this month.
Yeah, we get a very spooky woman and Freddie Blassie. It sounded like that they're reading old Bible verses.
Yeah, that's what they use Fred Blassie's clips for in this day and age.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people blowing out candles. There's, demons. I don't know. And then the opener, we had more pyro in this opening sequence than they have had in all of 2019 so far. So don't tell me it's not in the budget, people.
Might not be in today's budget.
What are you kidding? They have billions of dollars. They wouldn't need to sell a single ticket, and they would have money coming out their ass from this TV deal. So they're way better financial state than they were in 2000. Speaking of money pits, we've got the WWF New York restaurant is sold out. There was no one there that looked like they were having any fun.
Probably I got a bad meal.
And
from what I've heard from people that on podcasts from people that actually went to there.
I think Peach Machine actually went there one time, and we were talking about it.
Yes, the Beachbody Ryan Ash.
So we got JR and King on the commentary desk. We got Kevin Kelly. He's drawn the short straw, and he's on parking lot duty because we're waiting for Stone Cold to come. Because that's the
they needed Michael Cole for later, but we'll get to that.
Michael Frosted Tips Cole.
God forbid we get Kevin Kelly on a pay-per-view.
Our opening contest is an 8-man tag: the Dudley Boys and APA teaming up against the Right to Censor. Now, give us a history lesson on the Right to Censor.
The Right to Censor is Steven Richards, Bull Buchanan, the Good Father, and Val Venus, and basically this was a gimmick used to repackage Godfather and Val Venus, whose gimmicks had gone stale by this point in 2000. And I think Val had actually come back, and he was managed by Trish Stratus for a minute and won the IC title. And then what was Godfather doing? He was doing the pimp gimmick still.
Right, they changed him as the Good Father. I think the Right to Censor was kind of Vince McMahon's way of portraying the Parents Television Council, which was...
You want to censor us and blame us for the problems of the world? Goddamn, pal.
They were protesting the level of violence and sexual content on WWF.
They were protesting the protesters.
So a lot of them were threatening to boycott many of WWF's sponsors. So it's like, oh no, what's going to become of Stridex, Karate Fighters, 1010, 220, and Snickers if the Parents Television Council stopped using our products?
Well, Karate Fighters hadn't been a thing in years. And the collect calling stuff was starting to die down.
Right, but you get my...
I get what you're saying. And AP and the Dudleys were actually one of many people on this show that were in a mini feud, but RTC got involved, and that's how we have this match here.
Yeah, why was Val Venus wearing white pants?
Because he looked like the Good Humor Man.
And it was only a few weeks after Labor Day.
Well, because they had brainwashed him probably 2 weeks before this show.
Right.
Apparently. Yep. That's how Val joined.
We want you to become a house painter.
We want you to be in the whatever commercial is. I don't remember. But anyway, this is a quick match.
It is. I thought this could have been something that they could have had at Survivor Series.
Well, they would have an RTC match at Survivor Series 2000 if we ever talk about it. But yes, this is about a 6-minute match probably.
Yeah, not much to this. The Dudleys take turns beating up on the Good Father. Bull comes in. Bull Buchanan with half a haircut looks really strange. Either grow it out.
Bull was Recon or somebody in the Truth Commission.
Right, but he looked like a substitute teacher with this half balding haircut. And then once he shaved his head,
substitute gym teacher.
Right. Once he shaved his head, he looked like 20 years younger.
B2.
So, not much happened for a bit. Bubba gets a hot tag. He takes out 3 out of the 4 Right to Censor guys.
Bowling for dummies.
Steven Richards, who is from Philadelphia, and there was a lot of people cheering for him, but I think they muffled a lot of the sound for these ECW guys, and they would do the same for Taz later on. Richards is kind of portrayed as this cowardly manager who won't get in the ring, and as soon as, one of the biggest pops of that match is when Bubba finally gets a hold of Richards, and he's about to take the full Nelson ass breaker until it's broken up.
And then they were about to do a 3D, and Val No, on Val, and Stevie Richards sneaks in with the super kick and steals the fall. And the heels win.
Great way to open up your show to have 4 minutes.
Oh, wait a minute. We have an aftermath.
Post-match, Dudleys give Richards the was-up headbutt, and they call for the tables. Now, this wasn't the official, Devon, dramatic pause, get the tables.
Get the tables. 1, 2, 3.
That thing just, that 1, 2, 3. That was so sad.
That wasn't yet.
So the crowd's going insane. Stevie gets the shit kicked out of him, mostly by Bradshaw. So I don't know what Stevie Richards did to piss Bradshaw off, but he laid a holy beating.
Bradshaw hates censorship.
He laid a holy ass beating on this motherfucker. So APA leave the ring so the Dudleys can put Stevie through a table, and they did that with the second row Bubba Bomb. This crowd is reacting as if this was Rock Austin at Mania 19. They love this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're the ones, because this was nothing to me. This was like a Raw match.
Speaking of Raw matches, we have do we have a backstage thing next? Because we have a lot of those.
Yep, we get Uncle Paul, Trips, and Stephanie are backstage sitting on a couch watching the carnage. And
Stephanie is worried about his ribs.
Oh, man. Stephanie's voice is like 3 octaves higher. And this, I think, to me, this was the height of Stephanie's hotness.
She looked damn good here.
I'd like to give her a rib.
Oh, boy. A few other body parts, maybe.
So, but he says, don't worry, controlling his temper ends tonight. Triple H is going to destroy Kurt Angle. He wants to know which corner Stephanie's going to be in. She thought Kurt was her friend, but she was wrong. So,
was your friend really worth it?
Was your friend worth it?
And we have a strap match.
Was your friend worth it?
Staffa.
Jerry King Lawler versus Taz in a leather strap match. At first, they just say to win this match is by pinfall or touching the 4 corners.
Goody.
Did they say submission? I don't remember.
I think Fink might have.
So, of course, Taz is over huge in Philadelphia. They drowned out, or they muffled a lot of the cheers for him. So Jerry Lawler in his bright banana yellow singlet. Oh man, I had to adjust the color scheme on my laptop here because my retinas were being murdered by Lawler's gear. So they're strapped at the wrist. Taz immediately starts choking the King. Taz throws him outside, and he starts jawing with Ross.
Get in the damn ring!
And I didn't know if this was the match where Ross smashed Taz with the water pitcher, or was that at SummerSlam?
That was SummerSlam.
Okay, well, we missed that one. So King makes a bit of a comeback. He hits not 1, not 2, but 3 pile drivers. And
Taz finally flip-flops on the 3rd one.
Right, he no-sold the first 2, much to the delight of this Philadelphia crowd. Finally, the 3rd time, he gets up, he's no-selling, and then he just falls forward. So,
and Raven appears out of nowhere.
So the King, he touches the first 3 buckles. So, if you've watched any strap match, you know how it will usually go. The babyface will go to touch all 3 corners, and then there'll be this gigantic struggle for the 4th one. So the ref gets bumped.
Is he going to touch the 4th corner? Nah.
So the ref gets bumped. Raven runs into a giant ovation, and we get the announcer say, he doesn't even work here. It's like, so why are you letting him in? Tackle this
Security
asshole.
Not doing their job.
He hits a sloppy-looking DDT on the King. Taz puts on the Tazmission. Conveniently, the referee comes to, and Taz gets the win. And this would be the biggest pop that Raven ever got in WWE.
Yep. And we have more backstageness.
So Austin finally shows up in his 316 truck.
20 minutes late.
Kevin Kelly reacts like Santa Claus just showed up, and Austin says, I'm not there to answer any questions. And then he beats up Kevin Kelly, and he dumps the obligatory loud hollow metal rods.
Good Lord. Oh, boy.
They need to induct the loud metal rods into the Hall of Fame.
Poor Kevin Kelly. He probably got paid nothing for this bit.
Well, this was a long time ago, so he was much younger and much more stable.
And much more like a Hermie.
So speaking of young, prepubescent Michael Cole joins Jim Ross at the booth while King is being taken to a local medical facility. And we get the Hardcore Invitational.
Here comes Al Snow representing Italy and every other Italian stereotype.
I had completely forgotten that Al was the European champion, and he came out every week representing a different stereotypical...
Doing a D'Lo Brown gimmick, but D'Lo Brown did it better.
So this week he was dressed up as an Italian. He brought a pizza box, which we would use later on, and...
a dead fish, and a picture of Tony Danza, because a picture of Alyssa Milano was not available.
Our Al Snow, Crash, Test... accompanied by Trish's boobs, Saturn accompanied by Terry's boobs.
Whole lot of boobs
mercy.
here.
SmackDown #1 announcer Funaki and the hardcore champ Steve Blackman. Now all these guys are just hitting anything that moves, then going for...
By the way, there's a 24-hour moratorium on the title after this match.
Oh, thank God, because that's if there's anything that this title needed is fairness and rules. So the match is supposed to go 10 minutes. Last man to win, or last man to have had a pinfall, is the champ. Which begs the question: why do they try to break up pinfalls in the first 3 minutes? Just let the guy pin the champ. That guy becomes the champ. Then go beat up him.
Was Crash the first one to take a fall here?
Yeah, we do. I think
we do have a spot where Terry gives Trish gives Terry head, and then I don't know.
Terry and Trish both get hit with Al Snow's head just so JR could make a head joke.
Trish gave Terry head as Al gave Trish head.
Crash
2000, everybody.
Crash fucked up Arana from the top rope in royal fashion, and he just about ended up getting powerbombed right on his neck. All six guys are brawling on the outside. The announcers say you have to pin the champ, which is Blackman. So, like I said, why is anyone beating up on anyone else? If you have
we do eventually get a pinfall. I think, Crash scores a fall, and then he's celebrating and goes through the curtain, and all of a sudden Saturn hits him with a garbage can.
Yeah. So within 2 minutes, we've got 2 title changes. Everyone is still brawling on the outside. The announcers are now bored, and they're talking about Austin. They completely forget who the hardcore champion is at this moment. And for Blackman's sake, I wish this match was a shoot. That would have been so much fun. Just see him fuck these motherfuckers up. Terry's now back up and bouncing around, completely cured from the blunt force trauma she just took in the head 5 minutes earlier. We get Blackman and Saturn. They're having a stick fight.
Damn it, Terry, you need to sell.
Blackman and Saturn are having a stick fight in the ring. And this is when Al hits Test with the pizza box. Was there anything in that box?
I don't think so.
Why couldn't they put, they're in Philadelphia, take a note?
Put a cheesesteak in there.
Well, I was going to say, put like a street sign or something in there. That's something that ECW fans would do.
Yeah, but usually the street sign is like covered up by some type of weapon. Like a hockey stick.
Wrapping paper.
Hockey stick.
So Blackman takes out the field with the stick, and okay, I'm fucked up my notes here. I wrote Blackman takes out the field with the stick, pinning Blackman to win the title.
He pinned somebody. I can't remember who.
I think he pinned Saturn because
Saturn was the champion.
There were only 2 changes in this. So Blackman comes in with the title and he leaves with the title, and
everybody just chases. Like the last 30 seconds of this is Blackman walking back, and might as well have just been everybody walking backstage because it's the end of the match.
Kurt Angle's bebopping backstage, showing off his medals to 2 geeks. And then Austin comes into the building and he confronts Kurt, and Kurt tries to compliment him by kind of putting himself over. And this was, I think, the first face-to-face between the two, wasn't it?
Yes.
And
he's going to give Austin gold medals because I don't know.
I mean, they're not going to be as good as mine, but you can still have...
Backhanded compliment.
Austin says he'll store it in a special place, Kurt's ass, and then he beats him up.
That's a shiny ass.
X-Pac versus Chris Jericho. We get a video recap of X-Pac attacking Jericho with weapons 2 weeks in a row, and the announcers have no idea why. It's like, well, I know why. It's because Jericho didn't want to put him over at Clean at Halloween Havoc 1996 for the Cruiserweight title.
That wasn't for the Cruiserweight title.
I know that.
But they did have a match for the Cruiserweight title later on.
That was the one.
No, that was a house show in Los Angeles.
Halloween Havoc 1996, episode 2 of the Angry Marks Rewind podcast. We covered it.
I didn't cover it with you. It was you and somebody else.
Yeah, apparently someone that did their research.
No, because the Cruiserweight title match on that show was Malenko and Ray.
Oh, God.
Because Ray was the Cruiserweight champion.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Six won the title from Malenko at Super Brawl the next year.
I stand corrected. Never mind.
Yes. Anyway, Jericho X-Pac.
The two of them did wrestle at Halloween Havoc, but that's for another show. Well, no, we already did that show. You didn't. Never mind. Moving on.
We're going to be here all night, folks. It's time to walk with Rowan.
God, I wish I was drunk right now. So, Jericho doesn't add it. So, Jericho starts chopping Pac. I wish. X-Pac returns with a lot of stiff kicks in the corner. Jericho, he gets launched to the outside, and X-Pac hits this cannonball over the top rope, and the announcers are talking about how X-Pac and DX have this major rift between them, and X-Pac should go out on his own. And
he is on his own.
He should get an ECW guy and a hairy guy with piercings, and they should form their own stable.
And come out to an Uncle Cracker song.
Ross and Cole then throw silent barbs at each other when Ross said, "There ain't no money in being a sidekick." Cole, you little motherfucker, trying to steal my job, goddammit. So both guys exchange Bronco.
Just wait 9 years, JR. I'll be the voice of Raw.
X-Pac gets...
And then in 11 years, we will face at WrestleMania.
What?
Or some pay-per-view.
Cole and Ross?
Wasn't it Lawler and Ross against Cole and Swagger at a pay-per-view?
Oh, I don't know. That sounds like, I don't know, like...
2011.
2011 Raw.
That was Extreme Rules 2011.
How do you know this?
I don't know, and I'm scared that I know
it. X-Pac gets nunchucks from under the ring, but Jericho rolls him up for a 2. X-Pac counters a lion salt. X-Pac then tries a dropkick from the second rope. Jericho catches the legs, slaps on the walls, and X-Pac taps.
But X-Pac gets his heat back.
Oh, does he? Yeah, he bonks Jericho in the back of the head and in the ribs with these nunchucks. Jericho gets beaten down, and then they play X-Pac's music.
This feud must continue for a cage match in the next pay-per-view.
We get Kurt Angle confronting Commissioner Mick Foley backstage. They make poop jokes. Kurt has a head cold the day before the Olympics, and Mick Foley, who's going to be the referee, says,
I suffer from IBS. You do BS. You do BS. No, IBS.
They portrayed Kurt as such a geek here. No wonder nobody took him as a serious threat. So Austin.
Oh, Kurt and Mick doing shit. That's funny.
Yeah, for most of this night they had Mick Foley just in this little booth that was like the commissioner office. So was he supposed to be there the whole time while these matches were going on?
Yes. Or maybe they pre-taped.
Maybe that's like he's just like the coat check guy.
Oh boy!
We get Austin walking into Rock's dressing room. He asks him who was driving the Rock's rental car the night Austin got run over, and then Just Joe walks in. Remember Just Joe?
No, nobody else does either.
I do. Because he's a Canadian indie wrestler who I used to watch at parking.
Joey Legend.
Joey Legend.
He was also in TNA early on.
He said he has some bad news for Austin, which sounds like it could be in his favor, but then Austin beats him up. So
I heard Just Joe was a sorry son of a bitch. More worrying is that Rock leaves his locker room door, just lets anybody into his locker room. Somebody knocks and he says, "Come in." No wonder somebody got the keys to his rental car and ran over Austin.
Yeah, Rock's level of security is, maybe The Rock is such a big star that he just thinks that people will take care of stuff for him. He's not like us normal people that feel the need to lock our doors and,
have common sense.
Right. Up next is the tag team title match inside a cage.
In order to win, you must pin your opponent or both members of the team must escape the cage. Because we need stipulations in the cage match.
Yeah, could you catch Howard Finkel having a bit of a rough time explaining the rules of this match? He was poor Howard was kind of stumbling over his words here.
Stumblebum.
So on SmackDown, we got a sneak peek of the Edge and Christian show as they were making fun of the Hardys' video they made as children playing wrestler. And out of all the things that Edge and Christian did, this is what made the Hardys mad. So why release the tape, idiots?
It's not beating them in their hometown the previous month. Yeah. It's this.
Matt gets a concerto. Edge pushed Matt into Lita, who hit her head on the brick wall. And Edge would be hitting that in a whole lot different way in a few years. We get a bunch of brawling early. Jeff teases a swanton from the top of the cage. He gets cut off by Edge and then just immediately falls to the floor. I don't think that was supposed to happen. Jeff may have been in a certain level of, not fit to perform, and maybe he just lost his balance and fell.
He botched and took a 12-foot jump off the cage.
So long ankles. So that leaves Matt Hardy in the cage alone with Edge and Christian. Jeff tries multiple times to re-enter the cage, but he keeps failing, so he finally beats up the referee that's holding the key. And
luckily, there's no DQ in a cage match.
Right. So Jeff fails again, but now there's a chair in the ring, so Jeff has a double failure.
Oh, boy.
Christian then gets another chair from the outside. He re-enters the cage and padlocks the cage door again. Now, unlike the Thunderdome cage, this looked like it was bolted shut. Not like the little tiny master lock that the big boss man used.
Chris Masters was there?
Edge and Christian miss a concerto. Matt hits the double clothesline, which knocks two chairs into them. Christian goes over the top, and Jeff just launches a ladder at him, causing Christian to fall to the floor. So now he's out. So now it's one-on-one, Edge and Matt. We haven't seen this before.
And we would see a lot more of it in a few years.
Jeff makes his way back to the top of the cage, and we get a camera shot that I don't think we were intended to see, as there is clearly a nice even platform along the top of the cage for Jeff to walk on.
Kayfabe!
And then Jeff attempts to hit a moonsault, and Edge and Matt were supposed to catch him, but they both failed, and Jeff just takes this flat back bump from the top of the cage for no reason, and then Edge and Matt sell it. So they're all dead. Now Christian is trying to use a ladder to get in, and Lita runs down. She hits
and Frankensteiner's Christian off the cage.
And she breaks her wrist in the process.
Good job, Lita.
So now both Hardys are in the cage with Edge. Hardys climb to the top of the cage. They both have chairs. They give the concerto to Edge, and he does the Nestea plunge. And the Hardys climb off the cage and win the tag team titles.
And, I mean, this feud had been going on for a year. This was about the blow-off for this, except we would have something else, and then we'd have TLC 2 at Mania next year.
Yeah, I really like this. This was like a nice, fun little car wreck, but it's kind of hard to watch these guys in hindsight, knowing that the bumps these guys took, and most of them have had major neck issues.
Yes.
So.
And we're halfway through the show, and do we have another backstage?
Oh, we sure do. We got Steve Austin coming to Stephanie's locker room, looking to question her, and she has a gift for Austin. It was the hat that he was wearing the night that he got run over at Survivor Series. She then tells him that, Shane knows who did it. So she's thrown him under the bus. And then Austin says...
Well, that was the storyline for the night, though, is that Shane had a tape of evidence that showed who did it.
Right, he had a VHS tape.
That he gave to the monkeys in the truck.
So Austin says something about there are 3 certainties: death, taxes, and not trusting people here. Ooh.
Paranoia.
Sick burn.
He also talks. I hadn't found a person who ran me over, but I damn sure got my hat back. Thanks, Steph.
Triple H, his back knee approaches Mick Foley in his little box. And, God, he needed some Clearasil or something. I don't know what.
Well, that's why he was wearing a shirt.
Well, that's what the supplements will do for you.
Stacker 2, everybody.
Ico Pro.
No, it was Stacker 2 this time.
So Triple H wants to make sure that Foley will be fair, even because...
Even though Triple H retired him months earlier.
I know that I retired you in the same kind of match, so don't have your hostilities taken out on me. Be fair. And Foley says it's going to be a no DQ match anyway, so he doesn't care. We get Jerry Lawler coming back and Michael Cole with the fakest enthusiasm. Yay, he's back.
I gotta leave now. I was enjoying doing a job where people were actually watching me.
Up next is the Intercontinental title match. It's Eddie Guerrero, the champion, taking on Rikishi. I completely forgot about this whole angle.
This was the beginning of the Eddie China split.
Eddie accidentally pinned China to win the Intercontinental title. Eddie's losing his temper every week. China telling Eddie that she's going to be in Playboy. Eddie goes to the Playboy Mansion to talk to Hef. Then we get a recap of the wedding proposal. This is all awesome, but with the people involved, it's also kind of very sad.
It's also weird that it wasn't. They were breaking up Eddie and China already at this point, and it had only been like a 5-month thing.
They had plans, so.
And China's going to be in Playboy, and it's coming out tomorrow. Imagine her naked, JR. I don't know if I want to imagine that. Even back then.
Yeah, this whole show, the main point of it was they had 2 goals. 1, to push the China Playboy issue, and 2, to push Raw on TNN. Everything else was completely inconsequential. So this match...
And of course, Austin...
Eddie tries to stick and move early. Rikishi counters a sunset flip attempt. He tries the big sit-down splash, but he misses. This scares Eddie so much that he tries to leave. And then China has to give him a pep talk to get him back in the ring.
Get your ass back in the ring, Eddie.
Eddie won't listen, so China shoves him and throws him back in the ring. That's your fiancé. Just... Eddie uses China as a shield, and then he sneaks around Rikishi. He's
Repo Eddie.
What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine too.
Holmes.
Eddie misses a frog splash. Rikishi screws up a Samoan drop, so they had to do it again. I guess they thought they could just do editing here on a live pay-per-view. Rikishi hits a bonsai drop, and he was going to go for the pin, but then China prevents it, the ref from counting to 3. And Rikishi's mad, because we're supposed to be friends, brah. What are you doing?
And now I'm going to sit on your face.
Yes. So then he attacks China, gives her the bonsai drop. Eddie sees China down, but he has to make sure he gets his title belt first.
The title's more important than his fiancé? I guess so.
This was the seeds of the China Eddie split, and also the possible Rikishi heel turn, which would happen the following month.
If we ever talk No Mercy 2000, we'll talk about that.
So we get Carlton Banks backstage interviewing The Undertaker.
A young coach.
Says they will all take a ride, spit.
But let's just hope it's not their last. I may not be down with the devil, but I'll get medieval on your ass.
Kurt Angle is alone in his dressing room, presumably just talking to the cameraman, complaining about his day.
And here's Trish Stratus.
And Trish bounces into the room, offering a shoulder to cry on. And Kurt's such a fucking idiot that I have an idea, and he gets up and leaves.
A beautiful woman is macking on you, Kurt. Come on now. You could have had plans for the rest of the night.
Get another recap of Angle and Triple H, including Stephanie taking some great bumps. That she took her right hand from Triple H by accident, and she just sold it like a champ.
Sold it like a McMahon.
Kurt comes out and starts to sing "Happy Birthday" to Stephanie because it was Stephanie's birthday.
Yay!
Kurt is a terrible singer. Triple H comes out, who's accompanied by Stephanie's nipples. It's cold in that arena.
Nipple H.
Well, you can see they could cut glass. Hunter's power walk into the ring to start this blood feud. This feud that is, someone's trying to steal his wife, but he has to stop and spit his water and do his pose. Hunter has his ribs taped because on SmackDown, Angle took a sledgehammer to him. So,
was your friend worth it?
So Ross lets us know that Kurt Angle is the only American to win the Olympic gold medal at the Olympics. Where else would you win the Olympic gold medals? At the grocery store?
The Special Olympics?
No. You win them. Well.
Never mind. Anyway, moving on.
Hunter takes Kurt to the outside, and
this is a very slow-moving brawl.
Yeah, for a no DQ match, this didn't seem very no DQ-ish.
Did not seem very. It lacked intensity.
It lacked intelligence.
And it lacked crowd heat.
And it lacked, what's that?
Integrity.
Integrity.
Well, I mean,
Well, it lacked integrity because he's hitting on another man's wife.
It lacked intensity because,
It was kind of boring. It lacked intelligence because
it's two heels with the only babyface being the referee.
Plus, he turned down Trish, so.
Oh boy, yep. You could have had plans for the night, Kurt. You should have said, "Fuck the match and go out with Trish."
So Triple H tries a double axe, but he gets caught, and he's given that patented overhead angle belly-to-belly suplex, which always looks great. By the way, Angle's belly-to-belly better than Max Payne.
Well, because he didn't drop anybody on their neck and shoulder.
Of course, Brian Knobbs is no Triple H.
Yep.
So both guys are getting in Foley's face about slow counts. Triple H is the first one to use a weapon with a chair to the back. He then takes Kurt onto the table, and they're tempting fate here because at SummerSlam, they tried a pedigree, and the table gave away too soon, and
Kurt Angle got a concussion.
Kurt got a legit concussion. So Angle counters it with a low blow, and then he bellies Hunter off of one table onto another one. That looked like a cool spot.
Yep.
This is where we see the Kurt is a sign.
Kurt should have confiscated it himself.
No.
You think I'm a
part of the storyline going in is that they think that Kurt leads an alternate lifestyle or an alternative.
Oh yes,
lifestyle.
I watched that long ass segment from the
wrong with that.
Raw 4. How does anybody stand around a hot woman and just want to be her friend? And then that.
So Kurt continues to work over Triple H's ribs. He slaps on the abdominal stretch, which is JR's cue to mention Wilbur Snyder.
Because everybody in 2000 would know who that is.
Oh yeah, because we had the network, so we have the best of Wilbur Snyder matches.
No, we don't. I don't think those would be something that you would find anywhere, honestly.
Triple H.
Because nobody's looking for him anyway.
Are you telling me that I couldn't go on eBay and buy a best of Wilbur Snyder comp?
If that's how you want to spend your money.
Triple H goes for a pedigree, but his arm is just kind of hanging there limp. But damn it, it's going to hit his move. So he hits it with one arm. And then he calls Stephanie to come in the ring. And even though we're married, and even though I'm your meal ticket, you have to make a choice. So she kicks Kurt in the balls. And then Triple H hits a monster pedigree. He looked like he jumped 6 feet in the air and came down with all the might and fury of Huntor.
My wife turned on her friend. It gives me strength to hit a big move.
So he gets the win, obviously, because that's his move.
And kisses Stephanie Ruff. And
yeah, she didn't look like she liked it very much, but she was overly concerned for Kurt, but she still leaves with Triple H. Guess who wasn't good enough to be on this pay-per-view? Too Cool, stuck in WWF New York, entertaining the peons. And there's people in the front row right by this stage. Too Cool are sitting there dancing on this little elevated stage, and you can clearly see there's a whole row of people with their backs turned to them because they're trying to eat.
We're trying to eat. Stop trying to show us your worm, Scotty.
I don't want to see Scotty's worm.
We're trying to eat this terribly overpriced food.
Shane McMahon comes to the ring to show proof of who ran down on.
Is it just me, or is it odd to not? Well, obviously he didn't have a theme yet, but it's odd to see Shane without the "Here Comes the Money" theme.
I wrote that exact same thing. Him not coming out to that song and that stupid dance. It doesn't look right, and I'm not used to seeing Shane not all blown up and sweaty and looking like his head is like a balloon full of jam.
Yeah.
So Shane didn't want it to come to this, but now he has no choice. He has to publicly call out the suspect. And he shows a video from a few months ago.
Or a year ago.
Was it a year?
Yeah, it was because Shamrock had been gone a year by this point.
Right. So they figured, we can bury him on the way out too.
Yeah.
They show a video of Steve Blackman backing his car into Shamrock, who, by the way, is probably at fault because he should know where he's going. And Blackman does not give a fuck. He walks out in his Zubaz tank top, and he's all cut, and he picks his sunglasses up, and he puts them on, and he gives no mind to this Ultimate Fighter, and then drives away.
And Blackman comes out, stares down Shane, and Austin comes out to the Disturbed theme, which is another theme I don't really care for.
No, there's too many words in there.
And it just takes away from his reaction.
So Blackman is being accused by Shane of the one who hit him, because obviously if he'll hit Shamrock, he must have hit Austin as well. It's like, well, while we're at it, he also hit Brett that one time. And he also, who else has been hit by cars? He drove the white Hummer. I don't know.
Which time?
Who knows? Anyways,
WCW angles, everybody.
Austin comes out. He stuns Blackman. Shane is so happy. He rushes out to grab this big cooler. They have a beer bash. Everyone knows what's coming. Wait for it.
Stunners.
And Shane does the best beer spit take I've ever seen. Austin has 25 more beers. He drinks on the desk. He's spilling his beer all over JR and King's electronic equipment. They probably have monitors and microphones and shit there.
Nobody was electrocuted during this segment. We hope.
Yeah, so Austin milks this crowd, and the whole segment was maybe 15 minutes. And
who else could we have fit on? Because we obviously weren't going to get the reveal of whoever ran over Austin for a few weeks. They did that on TV. Yeah. But who else could we have fit instead of having this 15 minutes?
Could have had a women's match. You could have
had Lita versus somebody. You could have actually paid Too Cool to be at the show instead of having nobody pay attention to them at WWF New York.
Would you have bought this pay-per-view knowing that Too Cool was going to be on this show?
I would have bought this pay-per-view anyway, but no, probably not knowing they would be on the show.
Main event time, we get a video recap of all three challengers, including Muffled Kane. I deserve a shot.
And I'm the only one who does.
I'm the only one.
And Taker saying, I deserve a shot because I'm the old dead man.
Yeah, they all come out stating their claim to be the number one contender. There's a promo backstage with The Rock. Angry Rock being interviewed by geek interviewers is so awesome. And I wish we got that these days. Like, can you imagine The Rock now answering, like, these NXT reporters? Like, how do you feel? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, Charlie Caruso, I'm going to take you back to the hotel room later tonight.
So it's Rock defending the WWF title against Kane, The Undertaker, and Chris Benoit. And one of these does not belong here, I don't think. We got
which one?
The Superstar, we got two monsters, and we have a wrestler. So Undertaker's bag must have been stolen backstage because he was wearing a purple Walmart tank top.
We also have the overdub of you're gonna pay because they can't use American Badass.
Right. On the WWE Network, when you put your mouse over the little dot there and it tells you the match, it just says Rock and Undertaker in a 4-way.
Because Kane's the mayor.
Well, if I was Kane, I'd be pissed. It's like, I didn't legitimately murder anyone. Why isn't my name on the network? So
take that up with HR.
So there's a 4-way brawl to start. Rock and Benoit, they fight into the crowd. Taker drops Benoit with a press slam on the guardrail. Taker and Rock finally square off. Rock pushes Kane into the referee. And then Taker hits Rock with a chair. And then Benoit comes in and hits Taker with a chair. And as the ref comes to, Benoit has Undertaker covered. And the ref counts 3. And
Taker's foot's on the rope.
And Chris Benoit is your WWF champion. And then Eddie Guerrero comes out and they hug.
Eddie Guerrero.
Good night, folks. That's it for the show.
Nope, Taker's foot was on the rope, and here comes Foley to take the belt.
Yeah, Benoit goes up the aisle holding the belt, and Commissioner Foley comes out. He takes the belt away, and he restarts the match, and there's absolutely no announcement to the crowd as to why. So if you missed this Taker on the rope spot, you're wondering, why is this...
Why is it still going?
Mick Foley's just a dick because he wants to screw over the heel.
And he had done this 2 months earlier, before this show.
So all 3 guys are taking turns beating the shit out of Benoit. Rock and Benoit, they're trading moves while Kane and Undertaker are sucking wind on the floor. And then Rock gets Benoit in the crossface. Rock goes for the people's elbow on Kane, but Benoit cuts him off. And then we get a parade of finishers. Taker and Kane are still brawling on the outside, and Benoit comes in and just kills Kane with it. Well, I guess that's a bad choice of words.
He kills Kane with a chair.
He kills Kane with a chair shot right to the back of the head.
His leader jerk Edge off the ladder.
Like, there was no protection for this shot whatsoever.
Put up your hands!
So the monsters are out of commission. Benoit clamps the crossface on the Rock. Rock is dramatically teasing the tap. Everyone knows that he's not tapping out of this. So they stay in the crossface for about a day. And then Taker makes the save and hits this giant chokeslam on Benoit. Did he ever go up for that? He launched himself. So Taker and Kane are brawling on the floor again. Rock hits the rock bottom on Benoit out of nowhere and gets the pin.
And you send the crowd home happy, sort of.
There's no post-match angle. Rock poses with the belt, and that's pretty much it.
By God, thank you for tuning in.
Okay.
Not a bad show, but it's definitely an inconsequential one.
Yeah. The first thing, Taz choking out the King to win a match where you have to touch all 4 corners, that is some WCW level bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The pop of the night, I think, obviously, was the Austin return. The show was okay. I think the 4-way was a fun little brawl if you like punching and kicking and chair shots, but there was, it was exactly as you would have expected it. There wasn't much to that.
Triple H and Angle's disappointing, considering how heated the feud was at the time.
Yeah, in the ring, probably for me the best match was the tag title match, the cage match. I thought that was pretty fun. So go out and watch the cage match. You can watch the four-way and watch the acting ability of Eddie Guerrero. I completely forgot how awesome he is. So him trying to get into the Playboy Mansion is pure gold.
Seek out those three things. And what's our next show on tap for our next show?
Well, since May 2nd is your birthday, I decided I would go back in the archives and see what aired on May 2nd.
Oh boy!
And what I have found, we are going way back. May 2nd, 1981.
Oh my!
The May 2nd episode of WWF All-Star Wrestling. You'll find this in the Vault section on the WWE Network. It's only 47 minutes, and let's run down the card.
Squash matches.
We have King Kong Mosca, accompanied by Lou Albano, taking on Steve King.
Oh boy,
that's a barn burner. We have George.
Main event anywhere, any arena in the country, Jess.
Steve King, isn't he Carmella's father?
I don't know.
Carmella's dad was a jobber in the 80s. We have George the Animal Steel versus Angelo Gomez. We have Pete Mitchell taking on the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Daddy.
Sergeant Slaughter, accompanied by the Grand Wizard, taking on Jerry Johnson. Tag team action, we have Tony Gurria and Rick Martel, the former tag team champs, versus Baron Miguel Cicluna and Chris Kanyon. Not that Chris Kanyon.
Darn it.
And our main event, Magnificent Don Morocco versus Irish Terry Gunn.
What a card.
This is going to be a quick one.
We'll be out in an hour or less.
Well, we're less than an hour as of right now, but it'll be our quickest review to date. That'll be episode 17. Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
Facebook.com, and then you can also find me at Wrestling5286 on Twitter.
Which you never use.
I do use it sometimes. I gotta figure out how to use it.
I don't know how to work this Twitter machine.
I do know. Yeah, it's a characters thing that confuses me. Darn technology.
You can find me on Twitter at Rowan Unruh. You can email us if you have any show ideas at angrymarksrewind@gmail.com. And Mike, thanks very much for joining us. Happy birthday. And good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.